This video is on programming a Zelio Logic Smart Relay using the Zelio Soft 2 software. Cool, so I've opened the program. First thing we want to do is click on Create New Program. This screen we want to select our module. So we have to be exactly the right model number, otherwise our program won't work. So for this I'm just going to choose a random one. So I'm going to click on this one. It brings up our models for this power supply. So this is a 24 volt DC one. And this is the model numbers here. So we find our right model. So for this, I'm just going to select the top one, press next. This screen, we want to select any extra additional extension bits. So we can choose this one here, 4 extra inputs, 2 extra outputs. Click on add and just press next. And that's added it to our software or hardware. The screen is choosing the programming language. So there's ladder logic, or there's function block diagram. So for this, we're going to stick with ladder logic and just press next. Cool. Now this is our programming space. So as we look at our space, we've got some options at the top left. We'll go through this later. On the top right, we've got how to put in different modes. At the moment, it's in edit mode for making our program. Later on, we'll press S for simulate, which is like livening a circuit. The bottom right, this is our model number here. So just to make sure we have the right model number selected and the right input extension bit selected. Along the bottom left, we have our inputs and outputs. So I for inputs, notice inputs are yellow, and then it has our input numbers. So inputs go in this contact zone. So in our programming space, contacts 1 to 5, yellow. So that's where our contacts go, and at the end, coils are blue. So for inputs, they all go in the yellow zone. This Z are the built-in buttons on the front of the controller, also in the yellow zone. Memory coils, they have yellow and blue. So these are yellow are like the contacts on a contactor, and then the blue part are like the coils of the contactor. So those are memory coils. Those are they're not actually physical, they're just digital in your program. The physical ones are these actual Q for outputs. These ones actually would have a physical effect somewhere. So again, yellow for contact zones, blue for coils. Cool, going to go through adding some comments, and that'll be about it for this video. So for this one, I'm just going to add some random comments, say for a forward reverse starter for induction motor. So we're going to go make up some numbers. So input 1 can be our start and forward. These inputs must be exactly the same as the physical connections of the smart relay. So if the start and forward is wired to input 1, the program must match this. Of course, I think we'll overload this. And we'll put a stop button in there. So you can add labels, and then we'll add some more labels to these. So forward, reverse. There's some random labels. Now we'll go through actual putting things into place. So you need to click on the actual input number and click and hold and drag it into place like this. So notice it'll go anywhere in here, but it won't go in the coil zone. So it must be a contact, so it must go in the contact zone. Cool. And we'll go through the same with the coil. So we click on the coil. This first coil is like a standard coil. If it has power to it, it's on. Power's off, it's off. There's one of the other functions that takes a pulse to turn it on, and then a separate pulse to switch it off. Cool. So we're going to grab the coil, drag it into the coil zone. So notice I can't even put it in the contact zone, like this. And we'll put in a standard thermal overload and a start button. And then notice how we have a red eye. So that's because we have an incomplete circuit. So if you click on the red eye, it brings you up where the fault is, just saying this is not connected with the right-hand cell, and that's not connected with this cell. So if we just make the connections, the fault disappears. Cool. So it's handy for later on. Also notice these envelopes, those are all comments. So it's best to have them displayed. So if you can click on the actual envelope, open the comment like this, or you can click on display, click on comments and then all our comments are opened